Today on Let Them Talk TV, what to do and what not to do at an interview. Yes, that's right, I have a checklist for you. These are general tips, and if English is not your first language, we'll also look at some helpful phrases and vocabulary that you can use. By the way, I've already made a video called the Top 10 Interview Tips, and that covers some, but not all of the topics that I talk about here. But this one is more up-to-date and expanded. And this is part of a series of videos on how to get a job. We also cover topics such as how to write a cover letter, how to tackle an interview if you don't have any experience, how to answer common interview questions such as, can you tell me about yourself, and do you have any questions for us? Check out our interview playlist up here somewhere. Right, let's do this thing. So first of all, do work on your emotional pitch. First thing to bear in mind that in order to get a job, any job, you have to convince the interviewers in two ways. Firstly, at the skills level, that you have the ability to do the job. But this is covered in your CV, so what you have to do at the interview is just flesh it out. But you can never convince somebody with facts and reasoning alone. You need more. So secondly, you need to reach your interviewer on an emotional level. If you can connect with them beyond the stats that are written on your CV, that's a powerful thing, and that'll get you the job. To do this, you need to look the part, then you need to frame your answers in a way that creates meaning. Get into their mindset and make them visualize you in the post. And you can do this through storytelling. We'll look at that later. So create a bond with the listener, build rapport, and make them like you as a candidate. Do look good. Dress for the part. It's better to be a little bit overdressed than too casual. A job interview is a big deal, and your clothes should tell them that. Now, I won't tell you what to wear or what not to wear, but if your clothes are too casual, it gives the impression, consciously or subconsciously, that you don't really care that much about the job. Clothes say something about you, if we like it or not. People make snap judgments based on the clothing. So the first impression we get is from the clothes, from the smile, from the eye contact. So get those things right. First impressions really count. Do focus on non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is as important as what you say. This is often overlooked, but the subconscious cues are so important for building rapport. Good eye contact, a firm handshake, positive, open body language, and a warm hello, 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 hello. Maybe that's a bit too much. But anyway, make sure you sound confident. It's not enough to know the answers. You've got to sound like you know the answers. A confident answer gives an air of authority. Of course, don't be too friendly. Build rapport. If you can connect with the interviewer, that can help. But of course, not too friendly. Don't hug or kiss the interviewer when you leave. Don't show them pictures of your holiday on the Costa Brava or a photo of your pet Chihuahua, Kevin. Don't be negative. Don't badmouth your former boss, even if he was a complete bastard. Don't be negative about your previous job. Don't say, I hate my job, it's boring, my colleagues are annoying. Just say, it'll be sad to leave my current position, but the job you're offering is an exceptional opportunity and I can make a real contribution here. Okay? Negativity will never get you the job. Do focus on them. Before you go into the interview, put yourself into the mind of the interviewer. What do you expect to hear and not hear? What will keep your interest? What will bore you or antagonize you? You'll find it really helps seeing it from their perspective. Your arguments will work if you can see it from the listener's point of view. When you approach the interview, remember it's all about what you can do for them and not what they can do for you. If you have this approach, then you're certainly on the right track. Always focus on what skills and experience you can bring to the company rather than talking about how you would like to get more experience and progress your career. Do give examples and try to frame your answers in terms of stories. Stories are not only more interesting, but they also resonate when you're recounting your experience and you're highlighting your skills. And moreover, stories will help you remember what you have to say when you are preparing for the interview. We all love a good story. So instead of saying, in my last job, I was responsible for store openings of a famous high street brand, do say, in my last job, I was responsible for store openings of a fashion brand. We often worked on tight schedules. For our new store in Dubai, my colleagues and I were working 16-hour shifts for the final week. We didn't think we would do it, but we managed to finish with just a few minutes to spare, and it was a great success, and we even got coverage from a local TV channel. But after that, I really needed a holiday. By using stories, you put pictures in the head of the interviewer and you make them imagine you doing a job well. And these thoughts are anchored in their mind. Don't speak too formally. There is a myth that in interviews you should use very formal English. This is not the case. Interviews, just like all communication, is about getting a message across. You're selling something, and that something is you. So speak in a way that is simple and convincing. Instead of saying, I was approached by the company in my capacity as a freelance designer to furnish the organization with some sketches, just say, the head of the company asked me to do some sketches for him. Do practice. Practice makes perfect. It's a cliche, but it's true. The more interviews you do, the better you will become. If you do lots of interviews, you will become good. If you've done 100 interviews, you'll be better than if you've done 10. One tip I can give you that's very useful is have mock interviews. Get friends to film you doing an interview, okay? I do these when I give interview training, and it's really effective. It can lead you to recognize the faults in your body language, your posture, your voice, as well as the content. Ask a friend or friends for feedback. Film it again and again and again until you get it right. Do your research. Find out as much as you can about the company. I'm often surprised how often candidates know nothing or almost nothing about the company and what it does. Check their website, check their social media. When they ask you what you know about the company, if you can personalize the answer, that's even better. So instead of telling them something that you've picked up from the website, which is better than nothing, frame it in a way that demonstrates that you can be part of the story. So if you're going, for example, for a job at a publisher's, instead of saying, I read that you sold 5 million books last year and have a presence in 14 countries, do say, I've always been a fan of your crime fiction series. I can't wait for the final installment of the Detective Bingley trilogy to come out. And to think I might be part of the organisation is very exciting for me. Do think of the interview as a conversation rather than an interrogation. Imagine that you are having a conversation amongst friends. You want to come across as someone easygoing and approachable and not confrontational. Don't memorize your answers. You'll end up sounding like a robot. Of course, if you're going for a job as a robot, then it's okay. Otherwise, it's best avoided. Memorizing your answers sounds fake. So, for example, I greatly admire your company, and it has been a long-standing ambition of mine to become part of your team. Furthermore, I'm aware that you are a global leader in tech solutions, and I believe that with my experience and qualifications, I can play my part in taking Acme Systems to the next level. Well, would you give that person the job? I don't think so. The underlying message is maybe okay, but instead just be more natural. Let it come from the heart. I've read a lot about your company. I must say I'm pretty impressed. You do have a good reputation, and I'd love to be part of this team. I have a fair amount of experience, and I do believe that given the chance I could do something interesting here. Something like that. That might not be grammatically perfect, but it appeals more in a friendly and in emotional way. Don't memorize your answers, but it is okay to learn a few expressions and words that you might want to pepper your conversation with, as long as it sounds authentic and natural. It might give your answer a lift. This might be particularly true if English is not your mother tongue. So let me give you a few examples, especially for you non-native speakers. To talk about things that you've done successfully, you can talk about your accomplishments. Verb to accomplish. For example, helping students at the college to reach their potential is certainly one of my greatest accomplishments. Versatile, which means that you have many different skills. You'll find me committed and versatile. I have both technical and communication skills. Flair. You have an originality to your skills. For example, I have a flair for organisation. I have a flair for marketing or something like that. Willing, which means to be prepared to do something. I'm willing to work late hours and do what it takes to complete the task. Remember what I've said many times, if English is not your first language, you will not be judged on your grammar. It's how you answer the questions which is much, much more important. They are not grammar teachers, unless you're going for a job as an English teacher. That's different. Don't swear. Personally, I don't mind swearing, but some people do. So don't take the risk of alienating the interviewer. The exception could be if they are swearing a lot themselves, and this kind of gives you the green light, but I would still be cautious. And I would argue that if they are swearing a lot, then that does show a lack of respect for you. Don't swear, but what you can do is use some substitute words that are not offensive, and these can be quite effective in conveying your passion for a particular idea. Words such as damned, bloody, and hell. So, for example, the project was bloody difficult, but we did it on time and on budget. Not only did I learn a lot, it was also damned interesting. We did a hell of a lot of work that summer. Once again, we have a video that goes into greater detail on this subject. Check it out up here somewhere. Use the emphatic do instead of very and really. The emphatic do sounds warmer. Instead of I really believe, say I do believe that I have the skills and experience to do the job. I do hope you will consider me for this position. Yes, if you want to know more about the emphatic do, check out the video up here. Don't talk about conditions and salary until you've got an offer or it's clear that you are in that space. Do say we whenever possible. Say we and not I. Saying me all the time can be alienating and it can be a bit annoying. We is a more inclusive word. So, for example, we managed to convince them that ours was the best software, and not I managed to convince them. Don't be needy. If you are desperate to get the job, Don't show that in the interview. Neediness is not a good look. Don't say, I really need this job. Please give me a chance. I'll do anything. It simply doesn't work. Instead, just show your enthusiasm and your confidence. But appealing to their sense of charity will never work. Do be nice. Compliment them. Say nice things about the company. Be kind to the interviewers. Show them your goodwill. It seems obvious, but it's so often overlooked. Tell them that their company, for example, has an excellent training program for new starters. Or if you're working for a retail chain, then tell them that you like their products. Finally, let me talk about a few experiences I've had that should be avoided. I've written them down here, piece of paper. Don't check your phone, okay? Don't check your phone during the interview. Some people think that it's cool. Fun fact, it isn't. Switch it off. Don't send an SMS 5 minutes before the interview saying that you can't get there and can you rearrange it for another day. I've had that too. It's good to talk, but don't overdo it. Don't give a 20-minute answer to a question such as, can you tell me about yourself? All right? Keep it relatively brief. Don't say, my boyfriend's also looking for a job. Have you got anything for him? Don't say, I'm a Sagittarius. That's why I think I'm a really good fit for this company. Good luck in the interview. Let us know how it goes. And if I've left anything out, you can add your tips in the comments. I don't really need a job, but Mum said she'd kick me out of the house if I didn't get a job. And but I'm good. I'm a perfectionist. That's one of my weaknesses. Don't know. No, I don't really know. What does your company do again? By the way, you don't require a drug test, do you?